Jonatan Clase is really someone to look out for. I would not be shocked to see him with the Arkansas Travelers in the next month or two. Just aggressively bring him up just for fun.
Colton and I were recording the Hit It Here podcast, and we had this segment at the end of that video, so make sure you go check out that episode of the Hit It Here podcast. But Jonatan Clase did get promoted to AA Arkansas today. Here are some other thoughts that we had from this podcast. Now, with Miller obviously getting the call to the bigs, congratulations to him again, kind of left Colton and I thinking about where are the minor league teams here for the Mariners? What are they looking like? What are some standout guys elsewhere that maybe developing a little bit faster than we anticipated or something like that? I know Cole Young's been tearing it up, but Colton, you've got a guy that you want to talk about.
Yeah, and I have to give a shout out to our member of the Mojovians accent for sending me a list of a lot of the minor league guys, just who's kind of performing right now. And the first one I want to talk about is Jonatan Clase. He's 20 years old, down in high A. Let's take a look at his numbers really quick. In 20 games, Jonatan Clase is hitting 337, 455, 723. He has 28 hits, 9 doubles, a triple, 7 home runs, 17 RBI, 17 walks, 27 Ks. He has 16 stolen bases in 20 games. Jonatan Clase is probably one of the fastest guys in the Mariners system, and a guy who will, in my opinion, skyrocket through the ranks over the next few years. The fact that he's only 20 really blows my mind. I feel like he has been around forever at this point. And he was a guy that was drafted out of the international draft class a little bit after Julio, if I remember correctly, like a 2 or 3 years later. And someone who was kind of talked about in the same vein for a little bit in the minor leagues before obviously Julio kind of took off. I think that Jonatan Clase, give it 3 or 4 more years, we could be seeing him in the major leagues.
Where would you feel that he slots into? Is he center or is he right? Because Julio, he was grading out as a corner outfielder when he was coming up through the minor league. But Clase seems like he's a more traditional center fielder where he's got that speed, a little bit more compact in size. Would Julio then kind of move into a right field spot? Or maybe if Kalnick sticks in right versus left, where do you kind of see Clase fitting into the outfield?
I mean, I think it's Julio's job to lose. I think Julio stays in center. I mean, it's his outfield. So
Okay.
I think that Clase, if and when he comes up, unless Julio's really struggling, then of course it's a different story. But if Julio kind of produces at the same clip he has been, I would put him in a corner spot just to see how he looks out there. Maybe switch him around. I mean, Clase is fast for sure, but he still has so many years that he needs to develop. And I think that he's added quite a bit of muscle over the past few years, as evidenced by his 7 home runs. He never struck me as a guy who was a big power guy. He always struck me as a gap guy, hitting doubles, triples, stealing bags. But it kind of seems like over the past 6 to 8 months, he's become a true 5-tool player. Jonatan Clase is really someone to look out for. I would not be shocked to see him with the Arkansas Travelers in the next month or two. Just aggressively bring him up just for fun and just see what he can give that Travelers team, because he's tearing it up down at high A.
Colton pretty much hit the nail on the head here. Aggressively call him up. He had it, the timeline maybe a month back, but hey, Colton had Bryce Miller coming up at the end of the May. He mentioned Jonatan Clase coming up maybe at the end of May, early June in this video. Maybe Colton knows a little bit more than he's letting on. What does he know that we don't know?